Hello, I'm Ed Gamble and welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
Welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
Ed Gamble, welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show. How are you today?
I'm very well. I'd say 7.5 out of 10.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think so. Like nothing too bad going on. But I'm a little bit tired. It's a little bit warm still. So I'd say if it was at a normal temperature, I'd be 8.5. But because of that, I'm 7.5.
You know, 7.5, if it was a movie, you'd still go and see it. That's still, you've enjoyed it for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say, four stars.
Oh, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good hotel. Sometimes they're better than the 5.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know. I only stay in 5s.
That's fair enough. I only stay in 5 too, but it's out of 100 when I stay in there.
Yeah, okay.
So how did you get into comedy? Because you wanted to be, like, you were in a rock band or a heavy metal band or something to start with?
Yeah, that was when I was about 15. I sort of knew that wasn't for me, though. But comedy-wise, I started doing stuff at university, like sketch comedy, and also stand-up when I was at uni as well, and then just carried on doing it. It's sort of a hobby that got out of hand slightly.
That's the best one to do.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as you start getting paid for it, it's slightly ridiculous, so, yeah.
Exactly. And what were your first gigs like? Do you remember them?
Fine, because they were mainly at university in front of other students, so you got the opportunity to be terrible, and they'd sort of support you in that. And you didn't feel like you were embarrassing yourself in front of the general public. So you've got a real opportunity to be bad for a long time and work out what it is that makes a good comedian. So they were probably bad, but they didn't feel bad at the time.
And so you famously played a British aristocrat in Almost Royal for 2 series. Is that something now, there's been somewhat of a changed landscape, would you say, in America? They put in a few new shops and stuff like that. Is that something you think would be interesting to return to?
I'd love to do it again, but yeah, I think it did sort of reflect the way America was at the time. But people were quite sort of closed off to us anyway. They were very impressed by the British aristocracy thing, but that was all about. That show was not about exposing anything with them. It wasn't about satire. It wasn't about American society. It was about our characters being quite stupid, and it was a reflection of what Americans thought of British people and the royalty. So it was never a sort of Sacha Baron Cohen project. It was always supposed to be a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit sillier than that. Yeah.
And, are there other sort of countries or places that you'd like to test that character out in to see how he sort of fit or didn't?
I feel like everyone else would be a bit too savvy, really, or they don't quite hold the royal family in as high an esteem as the Americans do, because it was a BBC America thing, and we were saying we were in the royal family, and Americans love the BBC and they love the royal family, so they would take anything ridiculous from us when we were saying it. But nowhere else really I can think has the same approach to Britishness or the royal family. I can't think of anywhere. But look, if they commission it, I'll do it.
That's the spirit.
I'll do anything. Please!
Clearly you'll do anything. You're on this.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Don't do yourself down, Sarah.
It's fine.
You came here before my gig. I didn't have a choice.
It's true. I was the only person here and I had a camera.
I'm happy with that.
Fantastic. So you were on what I would say was the most shocking episode of Roast Battle with Phil Wang. It got quite brutal.
It depends what you mean by brutal. Me and Phil are still friends. We enjoyed it at the time.
Linguistically brutal. It's almost like you roasted each other in a kind of battle sense.
Yeah, it's almost like that's what it was, yeah.
Took me off guard, I must say.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of that format. And I've seen a lot of the roast battles in the States as well, and I've seen them do a lot of them live, and I like it a lot. And so has Phil, I think. So we were really excited to do it. And part of embracing it is just really going for it and being as mean as possible in as funny a way as possible as well. I think the British sensibility sometimes is you don't want to do that. You want to hold back a little bit, or you want to undercut the idea of the show and be nice to each other. But I think you've just got to go all in with that sort of thing, and that's what me and Phil did.
Do you think it kind of helps if you know the person quite well, so you can really pick up on character traits or flaws?
Definitely. I think that's what the British version has done very well. They've made sure to put people together who've got previous relationship, whether it be friends or they had Bobby and Harriet who are married. And they've got Sarah Keyworth and Catherine Bohart who go out with each other. They've got them roasting each other this series, which is really cool. And I think sometimes with the American one, they sort of just put people together randomly who then have to do a lot of research, and it can come across harsher. because they don't know them. But with this, it feels a bit more fun.
Is there anyone sort of alive or dead that you'd love to roast?
No, I mean, Phil,
I suppose if they're dead, it'd be more like a cremation, but...
I want another crack at Wang. He beat me. I'm livid. I want another crack at Wang. Thank you.
Are you sort of thinking about it in your spare time? You've got like loads of...
No, it's all about him being Malaysian again. Done those.
Fair enough. So if you were, I mean, I'm sure you get asked this one a lot, but if you were on a desert island and you could only bring one swear word with you, which one would you bring?
I do get asked that a lot. It's got to be the big F, hasn't it? The F.
Friendship.
I'm talking about friendship.
Because you can sail away on the good ship Friendship.
Yeah, I fucking love friendship. Yeah. Fuck. It's my most used swear bomb, I think. Fuck, yeah. The daily basis. It's probably my first word every day. Just wake up and go, oh, fuck. Not again. And then it's shit, because I go, oh, fuck, not this shit again. And then I look in the mirror and I go, what a cunt. So that's probably the order of it, but I'd probably go fuck. So I'd go fuck first.
It makes sense. It's got so many uses, hasn't it?
So I just see so Lily doing my press, sat over there, absolutely livid that I've said, oh fuck, not this shit again, look at this cunt. So upset.
So we're live on CBBS, and so
this goes on YouTube, doesn't it? There's no
it does actually, yeah.
restrictions.
Not so far, they haven't.
No. Maybe I can finally bring YouTube down.
Exciting.
Shit. Take that, YouTube. Stick that up your vlog.
Now that is abusive. No need for that kind of language. So you've been on a sort of food program with Nick Helm as well, which I watched and enjoyed.
Thank you very much.
Very welcome.
That was a fun. We did that over a couple of days in Glasgow. It's a lot of fun. I love Nick to bits. He's one of my favourite people in the world, and it was a really nice show. And I enjoy food, so you can't really ask for much more than that out of a job.
What's your speciality dish? If you were having a party you wanted to impress people, what would be your go-to?
Deliveroo.
Delivery?
They want whatever they want. They'd come through the door and I'd say, welcome. What do you like? Here's Deliveroo. I'm paying. That's the speciality.
And you've been on loads of different comedy shows, panel shows, and all that kind of thing, Mock the Week, etc. Have you got a favourite that you're on?
I love Mock the Week. A, because it's very fun, and B, because they are my most consistent employer. So they have to be my favourite, because I want them to keep employing me at a solid rate. But it is a lot of fun. It's a lot more relaxed than people think it is. I think it's had a reputation for a long time of being quite a stressful one to do. From the old days where I think it did look like a more stressful thing.
Why is that?
I think back in the day it was a lot more competitive to try and get jokes in, and people were speaking at sort of cross purposes and just trying to land all their stuff. Whereas this now, I think this generation of comedians who's on it now we're all friends really. So what we want to get out of it is just have a bit more fun with it, and we can get massive laughs out of just chatting and stuff. So why not do that?
It's very true. Now, in addition to that, you're also a writer on Man Down. You've contributed to many episodes of that, and you've also appeared on a couple as well. I think you're a weatherman and another character.
I was a weatherman, and I was a member of a church called Peter, and I had a massive beard and a high voice, this is an episode that I wrote, episode 3 of series 3, and I wrote the character Peter, and then when I got cast as that, the script had been edited by Greg, and he changed it to having a massive beard and a high voice. He said, you're going to play Peter, but now you've got a massive beard and a high voice.
It's a lovely dream come true.
Yeah, so he's basically making fun of me. He changed his own sitcom to make fun of his friend. But it was better. It was a better character for it. I spoke like this.
That's quite relaxing. You should do audio pics.
Yeah, I think it might get annoying after a bit.
Don't know. So will there be another series of Man Down? Has that been announced? Would you return to it? Would you do more?
Of course I would do more. I am not the person to ask about that. I don't get told these things. I am a hired pen.
You're the first person that walked in. I just thought I'd ask anybody.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I think I basically just I'll wait, and if they call me and they want me to do it, I'll be there.
Exciting. Watch the space for that. And you've done quite a few things with Greg Davies. Of course, he famously supported you on tour as well, I understand.
He had to go on after me a lot of the time because I had to get the early train back. But yeah, he was supporting me.
Sense. And would you, with that in mind, would you ever consider going, or would you like to go on Taskmaster? Because they have amazing comedians on there, and I thought you'd be perfect for it.
No, I wouldn't like to do that. No, it looks terrible.
You think so?
Awful. Of course I'd like to do it, Sarah. But that's not how it works. I can't just say I want to do it.
It might work.
They have to book me.
You know, Samuel L. Jackson said on an episode of, I don't know if it's TFI Friday or Big Breakfast, something like that, he wanted to be in Star Wars. Then he got into Star Wars based on that.
As soon as you started saying that, I knew it wasn't going to be relevant to me. I am not Samuel L. Jackson. And it wasn't like he wasn't working on the Big Breakfast on the camera or something, and he said, I want to be in Star Wars, and they put him in Star Wars. He was still Samuel L. Jackson.
Could help.
I am not Samuel L. Jackson.
This is the Sarah O'Connor Show.
Yeah, it's the Sarah O'Connor Show, to be fair.
I don't know what kind of power that wields, but we can find out, right?
All right, I want to be on Taskmaster. Sort it out. That'll work, right?
I think it will.
Some research, and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I find it easier, otherwise I have no questions.
Well, of course that's true, but you would be surprised by the amount of people who don't realise that. I don't know.
It's the best way I find of doing interview tip, research who you're talking to.
Questions?
Yeah. Now, I thought that said, it'd be fun to open up questions to the general public.
Oh no, I hate those guys.
Well, yeah, me too.
General public. Keep coming to the shows, but as a group, I really, really despise you.
Curiously, the first question I got, which is the one I've picked, is from the TV channel Dave.
Oh, really? Okay, let's see what they've got to say.
They are literally listening.
Come on now.
The TV channel Dave would like to know, what animal could you confidently defend the Pope against?
So I'm defending the Pope against the animal.
Which animal, yeah, if you would choose to defend...
Protecting the Pope?
If you'd like to.
Right. Dave, this is bullying. So there's an animal coming at the Pope, and I've got to stop the animal.
Of any size.
Of any size.
Past or present.
I mean, it'd be easy if it was like a squirrel or something, because you can just boot it. If I put my big boots on, I could kick a squirrel 4 meters, I reckon. A cat.
They're quite dexterous, though, a squirrel. They might, I don't know if they see in slow motion like a fly does.
Yeah, but once it's on the Pope again, I think I can probably just pluck it off and chuck it.
Pluck and chuck.
Yeah, the old pluck and chuck with a squirrel. Same with a cat, I can pluck and chuck a cat. Also, you just stamp on a cat's neck. Dogs, up to and including a Labrador.
What about Labradoodle?
Labradoodle's dead, mate. Absolute mush by the time I've done with it.
What kind of padding, though, with the curly?
Yeah, well, it's not padding. I see that as a handle.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Either side, nut it out. Bye-bye.
Now, only last night I saw you on Ed Gamble at the Comedy Store on Comedy Central, which you were hosting.
Yes, luckily they let me host Ed Gamble at the Comedy Store.
It was quite a surprise.
Well, I only heard last minute. Someone dropped out. Someone dropped out of Ed Gamble at the Comedy Store. So I thought,
Did you see a doctor about that?
so I said, all right, I'll do it. It seems appropriate.
Someone had just dropped out of you.
Yeah.
And then, so is there any different skills required when you're sort of comparing an event?
That didn't really feel like comparing because you still do a set at that. When I compare live gigs, I don't tend to do that much material because I just like to chat to the audience and welcome them and make them feel comfortable and take the piss a little bit and get it going and then bring an act on. But the Comedy Store show was really fun, but it was basically go on, you're hosting it, but you still do a set and then bring the acts onto the stage. But it's a really fun show to do.
Do you find that the audiences are friendlier or less hostile when you sort of go from comedy clubs and pubs and all that kind of thing to sort of theatre venues?
I think audiences are way less hostile than a lot of people would think they are. I think there's always that thing of like, do you get heckled? Not really. It doesn't really happen that much. I mean, you must see a lot of comedies. It rarely happens.
I've seen several.
Yeah, I've seen several comedies, and it rarely happens. Theatres, it's less prevalent because I think people, as soon as they're in a grander atmosphere, they feel like they have to be on their best behaviour.
Now, you are heading to Edinburgh Fringe very shortly. You've got a new show called Blizzard. Which So wish there was one now because it's a bit too hot.
Too hot. Hate it.
Exactly, it's a nightmare. And so can you tell me a bit about what the show is? What can we expect? Why should we go and see it?
Well, that question, or the why should we go and see it, I just think if you want to come and see it, come and see it. I'm not going to beg. It's a funny show. There's some great stories in there about me being stranded in New York because of a blizzard. There's a story about my dad. There's a story about being conned by a guide dog. And there's some stuff about my girlfriend. And it's funny. What can I say, Sarah? It's funny.
And I don't want to give any spoilers away, so we may or may not be in a snowy bunker in New York still.
No, we're not. We're in Battersea. And you've already said it's warm, so you've given that away.
Damn it. No, it could be heated.
No, it's Battersea.
It's true, it's Battersea. There's a new complex here. It's lovely.
It's lovely. I've just had some noodles.
Cold or hot?
Cold.
Did you eat them too quickly or at the right pace?
No, too quickly. You know very well because I came into this interview and told you that I've eaten my cold noodles too quickly. And I'm trying to keep them down right now, I'll be honest. Every time I answer a question like too enthusiastically, they're sneaking up. And I'm like, you get down there. You're on the Sarah O'Connell show. Don't yak a noodle all over the camera.
It happens so often. It's like the first 3 rows are a splash zone.
Yeah. Is this the sort of thing you want, Lily, out of this?
This is what kind of happens in my interviews.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
This will make people come and see the show. I'm a great laugh.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it very much.
Well, there you go. That's all that matters, and that'll come across on screen.
Exactly. And when you're in Edinburgh, who are you looking forward to see? Will you have time to see anyone else?
Oh, yes, I will. I normally go and see a lot, actually. I've seen some great previews already that I can recommend, so shows that I know will be good. I've seen Adam Hess, who is fantastic. Glenn Moore, who I'm on with tonight, will be very good as well. Really looking forward to seeing, who I mentioned earlier, Catherine Bohart, Sarah Keyworth, Rosie Jones is going to be amazing. She's doing her first hour and she's going to absolutely smash it, I think. Who else we got? I mean, there's loads of people on there. Jordan Brooks as well. I've seen him do a previews. Excellent. Oh boy, too many. Gronya Maguire I've seen doing previews. Awesome. That's a good list so far, I think.
Very good list. That's day one sorted.
There you go. Fine.
And a follow-on question from that. You're a bit of a fan of comic books and superheroes, of course, and they're all superheroes at Edinburgh Fringe. If you had not only a superpower, would you be a good guy or a bad guy, and what would be your personal kryptonite?
I want to say I'd be a bad guy because it's sounds more interesting, but I think realistically I'd want to be a good guy because I'm a nice guy. My kryptonite, I mean, as a type 1 diabetic, I think that would be part of my superpower. Yeah. So my kryptonite would just probably be Haribo or something.
It's kind of mine as well. It's one of my weaknesses. Once I get a bag open, that's it.
My bag.
And what have you got planned for the rest of the year and beyond?
Rest of the year, I've got more Mock the Weeks after Edinburgh in September and October, and various other things, some other little bits of TV. Working on a couple of things I can't talk about.
Like what?
I can't talk about them.
Damn it.
I'm working on it's partly because some of them are secret and partly because some of them do not exist. So there's those things, and then I'm going on holiday as well, but that's probably not of any interest to...
Whereabouts? Where are you?
Japan.
I want to go to Japan. That's amazing. What, Tokyo?
Tokyo. Where else are we going? My girlfriend booked it. She knows what she's doing with that sort of thing.
It's very exciting. Hope you have an amazing time.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. So finally, have you got any messages for people watching the Sarah O'Connell show and your fans around the world?
Hello, fans around the world. Thank you for watching me on the Sarah O'Connell show. I hope you enjoyed all the fun questions that Sarah asked me and all my cheeky answers. Come and see me at the Edinburgh Fringe, 7:40 p.m. every night, 1st to 26th of August at the Pleasance Above in the Pleasance Courtyard. Tickets are £10 during the week and £12 on the weekends. The show will be 55 minutes and it will be excellent. So pop yourselves along. If you can't come to that, I will be touring around the country next year from January. It's TBA, but it is happening.
Well, that's phenomenal, and I encourage everybody to see you at Edinburgh Fringe and on your tour, and just in Japan and everywhere. Mock the Week.
Don't see me in Japan, I'm on holiday. If you see me in Japan, do not approach me.
If you're in Japan and you see Ed, avert your eyes.
Please do.
So thank you very much to Ed for being on my show today, and for everyone watching the Sarah O'Connell Show at home, be sure to share, subscribe, give the video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you all again soon for another episode of the Sarah O'Connell Show. Bye. Hold this for 10 minutes.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Was that okay?
That was really good fun, yeah.
Good.